A guy finds an old Pokemon Red cartridge in a trash bin. The Charizard on the cover has its neck torn. Not thinking much of it, the guy inserts the game into his Game Boy. Upon booting up the game, he finds out that it's a hacked game, because the title card says Strangled Red. The player checks the game to find out that he's playing as a trainer named Steven, who already has a Charmander named Mickey. He also has a brother named Mike, who acts as his rival throughout the game. The game takes place a year before Red's Pokemon journey, as stated by his mother. The game seems pretty interesting, and proceeds to play out almost exactly like the original Pokemon Red and Blue, although with a few differences. For example, Steven refuses to enter the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town. Just like in Red and Blue, you defeat your rival and you become the champion. But it's not over yet. The game picks up after you become champion, with your brother Mike requesting for you to trade over Mickey, who is a Charizard at this point, to him so he can complete his Pokédex. When suddenly, snap! When the player reboots the game, Steven is in the Pokemon Tower mourning Mickey, who appears to have passed away. The game plays through with a depressing tone, with NPCs telling Steven they're sorry about Mickey. Steven eventually seeks the help of MissingNo, of all things, to help him revive Mickey. Pardon me, I'm just wondering why you choose to seek out MissingNo when you can literally just buy a revive in a Pokemart for like 500 Pokédollars. Anyway, Steven is successful in reviving Mickey, but something seems off. Steven's trainer sprite gradually changes to something very disturbing and horrifying. Steven returns to Pallet Town and watches over his brother, who is fast asleep in his bed, and then he proceeds to strangle him, hence the name of the game and the creepypasta, Strangled Red. Someone buys a copy of Pokemon Silver for only $10. Upon booting up the game, they discover that there is already a save file. The player decides to open up the save file. When they do, they already are in what seems like Sprout Tower in Violet City, with a few differences. The pillar in the middle of the tower just leans on the side instead of swaying back and forth. All NPCs are also completely absent. As the player tries navigating the Sprout Tower, things take a progressively darker turn. The player opens up their team. Their team consists of 5 level 5 unknown, spelling out Leave, along with a level 5 Cyndaquil named Hurry. Hurry only has 1 HP and only knows the moves Leer and Flash. After wandering around for a bit, the player eventually finds a ladder hidden behind the pillar. The ladder leads them to a dark area that's completely pitch black. Not only that, the music went from silent to playing the creepy radio signal that plays in the ruins of Alph. Upon using Cyndaquil's flash to light up the room reveals itself as a red room which only leads down one long pathway. At the end of the pathway, there's a sign that says turn back now, with a yes or no option. The player selects yes and the screen cuts to black. A text box appears that says Hurry has fainted, and upon checking their Pokemon team, the player discovers 6 level 10 unknown that spell out Hedid. The player is then transported to what appears to be a grave surrounded by smaller graves. After a while, they proceed to warp downwards towards another red room with another pathway. When checking the trainer card, the player discovers that Gold's sprite has started to decay. His skin is now a very pale white, blood has started pouring from his eyes, and his arms and legs appear to have been cut off. When checking their team, they discover that they once again have a new team of 5 level 15 unknown that spell out Dying. They also have a level 100 shiny Celebi with half its limbs missing that only knows Perish Song. When walking down the pathway, They see a row of generic-looking NPCs, all completely white. At the end of the pathway, the player finds Red, although transparent, whom they proceed to battle. Red sends out a level 255 Pikachu, who looks very depressed. The player sends out Celebi, who proceeds to use Perish Song, which results in both Celebi and Pikachu dying after 3 turns. Not fainting, dying. After that, the player warps back to their house, except they're now transparent as well. Upon checking their team, the player discovers that they now have 6 level 20 unknown that spell out Nomore. The player eventually discovers that they can float outside their walls and into the void. After continuing to head south for a while, the player eventually spots the normal gold sprite, who just says goodbye forever. Then, a text box pops up that says use nightmare. After that, the player appears in what seems to be a grave surrounded by smaller graves again. This time, the sprite is completely invisible. The final team consists of 6 level 25 unknown that spell out IMDEAD. Later, the game also shows one final text box that says RIP.